And we are recording. Mr.
I'm
Mo.
ready.
And I do like how your shirt says everything hurts.
Yeah, especially my butthole.
I was just about to say. And this is why we're friends. We finished each other's buttholes. Wait, what? We do this in 3, 2, 1.
What are you doing?
Testes in my mouth.
Get on the ground, you fucking pledge!
Ew.
Welcome to the greatest podcast experience of your life. This is the Frat Chat Podcast.
All young men like 3 things. Food, booze, pussy.
Featuring Carlos Garcia and Chris Moore.
And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcasting time. It's the Frat Chat Podcast. I'm Carlos Garcia with CMO Moore. How's it going, Mr. Mo?
I'm good. I'm moving a little bit slow today, per usual, because I went out with a buddy from work yesterday.
That'll do it.
And we were just saying off air that this bartender kept hinting to me that he has like a side hustle, which I think might be prostitution. And I thought to myself, like, why is he only hinting this to me? And do I look like the type of person that pays for sex? I'm like obsessing over this.
To be fair, were you wearing that shirt last night?
I was not.
Because that could totally hint at someone who buys for prostitution. To be fair, did you have that same face last night? Because that kind of
yes, like I did.
See, that'll do it. That will do it.
So this is the problem.
That's the problem. I was
maybe I should walk in like this.
That's right. That's right. None of those faces that you're making look in any way creepier than the last.
But I thought that the friend I was with looks more like the type that would like holler at a sexy bartender.
You see,
like I think I give off like a kind of like a Midwestern, like sheltered. Like I would never pay for sex.
I don't think you're sheltered. Definitely give Midwestern, but sheltered is not the word I would just put for you by any means. Especially if you hear you talk.
my friend, to me, it looks more edgy. So I feel like
I thought you said
I don't know.
You meant they would look more like a loser.
No. Just like I don't think I look like the type that would like give or receive like a blowy in the bathroom.
Okay, but what does that type look like? That's what I need to know. What in your head is like, okay, that guy or girl sucks dick in the bathroom.
Like if they have more swag. Like I don't have any swag.
So you gotta be cool to give the blowy. I guess you gotta be really, really fucking comfortable to get on your knees in a public bathroom.
Yeah. Ugh. Or they could stand on like, the sink, so you don't have to put your knees on the, ground.
Stand on the sink. What the fuck? What if someone walks in?
I would never crawl. I saw that. I think
get off my sink. What are you doing, you fucking asshole?
I think I sent you this video, but it was so funny. Maybe not. I don't remember. But this guy went to like some department store worker, was like, "Hey, my cousin or somebody is special needs," and locked themselves in the bathroom. Like, and the guy said, "Yeah, of course." So he got on his back and he slid underneath the stall, and the guy on the toilet was like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing?" And it was a prank. There was no special needs cousin in the bathroom. this poor, sweet department store worker just like went underneath a bathroom stall.
That was the funniest. Oh god, his
I
face
was
after
like, oh
too.
my god. And I also thought, how have I
Oh,
not
I'm
ever thought of
crying.
doing this?
No, dude, that's the funniest shit. I felt so bad for that man because what if it was true? You know what I mean? Like he would have been a hero, but no. Oh god.
Ugh.
Can you imagine? You're taking a shit, all of a sudden some motherfucker slides in. I'll
Don't
help you.
worry, I'm here.
I'll, s- I'll help you with that. Oh, oh, that broke me. Woo! Yeah, that would be a bad day. It'd be a bad day at the Walmart.
So, we were talking off air about
Oh Jesus.
snoring, and so my husband came back from Brazil this week. So he was gone for 3
Okay.
weeks. He got hair transplants,
Oh.
and he came back, and
I thought he way to not tell anyone, by the way.
oh, sorry. So
There's just only a few people in 69 countries know now, Mario. No big deal.
yeah,
No big deal.
side. So he came back with he's always been a snorer, but he came back with like the snoring with the vengeance. Like I've never heard anything like this in my life. Actually, I recorded it. Let me see if I can play it. I took a video the other day. It's like
Oh my
let me
god.
see.
Holy
Can you
shit.
hear it?
Oh my god. Oh, that's awful, dude.
But it's so
Wow.
loud it's in my ear. And so um I can't, I haven't slept the last few nights. Now I slept
Wow.
last night because I was intoxicated, and so I'm like, do I need to drink every day? I mean, if I have to, I'll do it.
The universe is saying become an alcoholic. Now, how do you know? Because they did do this in Brazil, right? So how do you know that they used his hair? They could have used like an old man's hair, and now he's slowly being possessed by this old man. So that sounds like an old man sleep apnea that snore
They
for
could have
sure.
used an old man's pubic hair.
Is that why he's such a dick? Hey-o.
Hey,
Yeah, he should try. Trust me, try. I did this because I started having issues sleeping. First snoring, but then also like I woke up choking once, and it was fucking. It happened a couple of times actually, and it was super scary. So I got a husband pillow, what they call them, just one of those like
oh, I got a
like
husband and you got a husband pillow.
yeah, because his name is
We finish
Bill.
each other's buttholes.
That's right. He comes over and I just like lay on him.
Nice.
But it is a very sexist name for an object or for a pillow. Actually, a husband pillow. It's like it implies the husband always has to be the big spoon, which I mean, I guess it should be the case. But what if I want to be snuggled too, huh? But
Yeah.
anyway, it's one of those like it's like those big cushions that have like little arms, so you can like lean back, on like on the couch or whatever, on bed, whatever, against like the backrest, so you're not directly on the wall. So I put that, lean it backwards, and put some pillows on it, so I'm at a nice little elevated angle when I sleep. And my God, it's very comfortable. It's been great for my back, but also uh, I don't snore as much and I breathe way better because that's like the issue when you snore. I think it's your tongue or something just gets put in a weird position. So you got to kind of like position yourself in a way where oxygen keeps flowing uninterruptedly. So I would recommend you get him a husband pillow and put some pillows on that bitch. And
Let
trust
me
me, it
tell
was
you
a
what
game changer.
I can't do. If the doctor was like, you need a CPAP machine, I'd be like, It's not gonna work, baby.
No way.
You know what I mean?
No way. I can't do a
No way.
CPAP. It's loud. They're bulky. They're big. And that's just me. If you fucking have one and you're using it happily, use it. And don't tell, we are not health professionals. Do not listen to us. This is just personal preference here. Yeah, not a CPAP fan.
You know what?
Now, if they made a smaller one, maybe, but no.
I have a friend who invited this guy over the night. So they were dating, and so he was like, if you want to like bring a bag or change your clothes, you want to spend the night. I guess it was like their third date. So I guess he felt like, okay, we can see where this goes. And his date had this like luggage. And he was like, whoa, like just this is just like your clothes for the next day and like a toothbrush. He goes, no, it's my CPAP machine. And my friend was like, oh fuck. And so like he it felt like at that point he couldn't back out of it. So like it's quite the like contraption. And
Totally. I
it's
think you should have warned them. Like, hey, by the way, I have a CPAP machine. I'll be bringing with me, and not shove with a suitcase.
but if someone showed up to a date with me with a CPAP machine, I'd be like, this is not gonna work. I'm sorry. I don't want to sound discriminatory to people who have like sleep disorders, but like, yo, that's not sexy.
That's a lot.
Oof.
That's a lot. I can't. Again, if it was smaller and quieter, it's like vibrators. I would never want it. If I was a chick or, in a vibrator to ass play, I wouldn't want a monster giant dog thing. You want something that you can bring with you to the movie store.
Yeah. I just bring Lego men.
Oh, nice. But every once in a while, I'd just pop him out like,
Yeah. Lego men and vacuum cleaner attachments, and I'm a happy camper.
That's right. Sometimes you can put the vacuum in the reverse too.
So, are there any updates with wedding planning?
Well, we've been looking at venues, so that was good. Of course, Julie's at the point where she's stressed, which is normal. I'm not stressed because it's gonna sound sappy and romantic, but it's like we're getting married. I'm happy. I'm gonna enjoy like the engagement period, and I know I'm obviously fucking putting a wedding together is stressful as shit, and she's doing a lot of the work, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm still like enjoying being engaged in a way. I don't know. I'm happy. I don't feel stressed about it. I know it'll work out and it's going to be great. So
I think if you know that you don't like the venue, if you walk in there, because I feel like finding a venue for like a wedding is kind of like a job interview or a first date, like in the sense that you kind of have a vibe the moment you walk in. Like you already know within the first like few seconds if it speaks to you, And so like if it doesn't speak to you and you're like, I don't want to waste their time, but we've committed to this tour, I think you should ask like gnarly questions. You should be like, wow, this is a beautiful venue. So where would you suggest that we put the inflatable pools? Or like, oh, this
if Julie and I wanted to get a little quickie in before the wedding, where would we go? What room?
yeah. Like what's your stance on drugs?
Yeah. I have a lot of friends that like to do cocaine and a lot of it. So do you have a big mirror I can just kind of put somewhere? And note the main course is includes a lot of beans. I love beans in my family, so I hope you got the bathrooms ready to go.
Or you could say, my grandma always wanted to be here, but she passed, so I brought her ashes with me. Would you mind holding them while I go to the bathroom? Like, I really think you should have fun with
My
this.
grandma actually wanted me to spread the ashes where I got married. So if you don't mind, I'm just gonna go do that after the ceremony. No, it's okay. You can
Your
just leave
grandma
them there.
wanted her to spread ashes. My grandma was like, spread asses. Hey-o!
Boom. Go, Grandma Moore. Anyways, you did actually send me a story that, again, whenever I get things sent that I want to talk about in the pod, I always check the veracity of these. And, you want to make sure they're true before you put them out there and perpetuate a news story. And this one, not only was it true, but it takes place right here in New Jersey, where I am currently sitting with the New Jersey chief of police. And, hey, Timmy. Timmy. There he goes. Hey, hey, look at you. Look at you. Look at me. Look at you. You know what I need. You hit the button. Hit the button. Hit the fucking button, dude. Hit the button. Hit the button. Oh, he hit the button! All right. So, a New Jersey chief of police has been accused by several officers of harassment and inappropriate behavior. And inappropriate behavior, whew, that's putting it mildly. His name is Robert Farley, and he's the chief of the North Bergen Police. What am I speaking with a lisp?
I don't know.
Department. I sound like CMO in high school.
Too much action with that husband pillow, I think.
That's right. Damn you, Bob. Chief of the North Bergen Police Department is the focus of several notices to sue that were submitted by officers to the township of North Bergen, which the first step in filing a complaint against an employer in the state is, according to documents obtained by People magazine. Shout out to them for the story. Farley has fostered a workplace environment characterized by inappropriate behavior and so-called practical jokes that are demeaning, demoralizing, and targeted, Lieutenant Alex Guzman wrote in one notice obtained by People. These actions not only fail to meet the standards of professional conduct, but also appear intended to humiliate me and other victims, he added. A town spokesperson told NBC News in a statement, Township of North Bergen has full confidence in Chief Robert Farley's leadership of the North Bergen Police Department, and we strongly deny these false and outrageous allegations made by disgruntled officers who are resorting to attacking the reputation of a dedicated public servant to further their own selfish goals. So, here are the things that this apparently man was doing. So the notices accused Farley, who was sworn in as police chief in February 2024, of interfering with health and safety standards of the offices by adding in prescription medication, including Adderall and Viagra, and the office coffee, which caused staff to inadvertently experience side effects of these substances without these consents. So literally, boner patrol. Ooh, excuse me, officer. Are you carrying 2 batons or are you just happy to see me? Officers were also subjected to harassment and intimidations, the notices claim, and he would also allegedly defecate on the floor in the front of his entire office staff and leave feces on the bathroom floor with the intent of having someone unknowingly step on it. Oh, God. He was also accused of ordering officers to complete his daughter's homework, which was described as humiliating. What the fuck? He also allegedly once jabbed another officer in his genitals with a hypodermic needle. The notices claim he also damaged the items in his office, including a TV and picture frames, in fits of rage, as well as other officers' personal property by breaking pens and smearing ink on uniforms, vehicle door handles, and office equipment. The harassment also extended to their families. Officers claim saying that Farley would deliver inappropriate items to the officers' homes, including gay pride flags, dildos, and masturbation cream, which were seen by the officers' loved ones. Farley earns more than $228,000 a year, according to pension records. He heads a department with more than 120 officers. And again, the department says that
Yikes.
they stand by him, and this is all bullshit. I don't know. I don't know. Here's the thing: there are security cameras at these police stations, so it's going to be very easy to verify if the shit's true, literally, because there's shit everywhere.
Yeah. That's the poop.
uh, wow, wow.
I feel like this day and age, like everything is on social media. Are you saying that not one person has like shown a video clip of him having one of these like fits of rage or like him pooping or you know what I mean?
Yeah, these people
Like
definitely
I
have
would
some
be
kind of proof.
if I was there, that'd be the first thing I'd do. I'd my phone out like I need this I need proof when I talk about this at home.
Totally. Yeah, I absolutely guarantee you someone has proof. And again, like the security cameras. So unless the cops cover it up, it's very easy to look through it and say, hey, we looked through all them security cameras. If you did that at the station, it was the fucking ghost. It's very easy as you just look through that shit. So I don't know. We shall see what happens. But again, the police department is standing by him. So I don't know, New Jersey.
I wouldn't stand behind that.
Oh, hell no.
I'm
Oh,
like,
maybe
dude,
3 feet to the side, maybe.
like you're the turd bandit. Like you're the one that's pooping on the floor. That's
That's
you.
and giving us
Oh my gosh.
boners. God damn it. But can I get some of those boner pills though? Because that was kind of nice.
You know what? When he said something about like vehicle like door handles, um, I think I talked about this before, but I had I had this boss who was such a bitch when I worked at the mall back in the day,
Oh,
and I used to walk her to her car at night because
okay.
it was. I mean, I was like probably 120 pounds. Like, what am I gonna do? Like walking her to her
So,
car, but I walk her to her car, and she she called me a faggot one day. She was like, "Yeah, whatever, faggot," and I was like, "Uh-oh. Okay, now we're done." And so I went into the backyard of my mom and dad's house,
wow.
and I scooped up every turd I could find, and I went to the parking lot on my day off. I found this is in broad daylight. I found her car, and I took the poop out of this plastic Ziploc bag that I had, and I
No.
stuffed the turds underneath where you would grab the handle to the door
Oh,
on
no.
all the handles. So if she was gonna get into her car, no matter what door she opened, she was gonna get poo on her fingers.
Oh my god. Can you imagine just like opening the door and there's poop? Ah! And you go to the next one, more poop. Ah! You go to the next
And,
one, more poop. Ah! And then you look at the last one, it's stuff of poop. Like, ah!
and I thought to myself, I wanted to stand there and like watch it, and then when she had poop on her finger and be like, "Oh, poop on your finger? Who's the faggot now?" Like I wanted to say something snarky, but I thought to myself, I can't tell one soul because I could go to jail for this.
No,
So
that
I
is.
didn't tell one person.
And now we know why she got hepatitis B that day.
Yeah, and my
Someone
dog
would have
had
to be
worms.
human. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
A little bit. It was Uncle Steve's too to have to beef it up a little bit.
Yeah,
He had a very unhealthy lifestyle.
I found the
Okay.
poop on the floor of the local police station.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. And yeah, there's the chief of police. Yeah. Anyways, Mr. Mo, we have another edition of Letters from the Listeners. Because People like it. This
George.
week, I can start us off with this one. This week we got, as usual, we got two emails or communications, DMs, whatever, wherever you guys are sending from. We pull out the ones we like the most, and we go from there. Now, you can also send us an email. Did you know that? I think I'll tell you for the last couple of weeks, but in case you forgot, send us an email, fratchatpodcast@gmail.com. Ask us something. Tell us we suck. Whatever. If we find it funny or we enjoy the question, we will put it on the air. You can also shoot us a DM anywhere you want at Frat Chat Podcast. That's on Instagram. That's on Facebook. That's on Threads. That's on YouTube. That's on Twitter/X. You know, you got options. We give you options, whatever you want. So do it. We'll keep answering you folks because we like you. We have some great listeners in 69 countries all over the world.
Ayo.
Oh yeah, CMO. So that's right. I got the first one here. Dear Frat Chat guys, I'm currently in a fraternity, so I love your college episodes. Nice. You guys have mentioned some pretty gross college stories in the past. If you had to pick the grossest one, what would it be? Josh from America. Well, thank you, Josh. I mean, asking me for the grossest college story is like asking Simo for the lamest Friday night in high school. It's
Pretty much.
Where do I go from? Where do I choose? I have to say, there's two stories that particularly go in my mind because come to mind because when I'm being in a fraternity, I kind of got desensitized to throwing up. I still don't like watching people puke, but I think I saw enough people puke in my day, and especially in college where boot and rally was the game. Where if you wanted to keep drinking, you got to throw up a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, I've done that.
I kind of got desensitized a little bit to puking stories, but I did share two poopy stories on the air in the way back episodes that involve ladies in bathrooms. One of them being a mystery lady who went into our fraternity house's bathroom. And no one, well, apparently she went in with a couple of girls. No one knows who did it though. And you know what she did, Miss Simo? She took a dookie in the bathtub. Who takes a dookie in the bathtub? Awful.
I think that, if you ever go to the Cubs stadium, like the bathrooms for men is like a big trough. So you just find a spot against the wall and you piss, and then you wash your hands in it afterwards. So
Fill up your cup.
to me, a line of girls sitting on the edge of a tub, all peeing next to each other, is kind of like their
Ugh.
version of like the Chicago Cubs stadium trough.
Yeah, right? Ugh. And then one left a dookie. And then the second one also involved a sorority girl. And this girl, we did know who it was. And the whole thing was it was during a party. And the biggest party of the year, it happened during Tiger Fest, which is in our college. It was like the biggest like festival, every day. That day, everybody got fucking hammered, partied. The school would get like a cool artist, would do a show, people tailgated. It was like a whole thing. And we had a party at the fraternity house, and this girl came and she was pretty hammered. And at one point, she went to throw up. And she's in there in the bathroom throwing up. And she's kind of like on all fours in that type of throw up situation. And our risk management guy went in there to make sure she was okay. And, is helping her out. When all of a sudden, she had to dookie. But it was springtime, as you know, Mr. Mo, which means that she was wearing a skirt. And under said skirt, she was wearing a thong. And this
Oh
dookie
God.
was not a solid dookie. Oh, no, no, no. This is what they would call a spray dookie.
Say it, don't spray it. Say it.
That's right.
Say it, don't spray it.
But what happens in that type of situation, when you have a spray dookie situation, add it with a thong, it's kind of like boys and girls, take a second right now and go to your kitchen. That's right. Carry us along. Go to the sink right now and put your finger, right under the sink. Just, cover that
Under the
bad boy up.
faucet.
Under the faucet. That's right. Just cover that up right now and then turn on the water full blast. See what happens. You're pretty wet right now, aren't you? There's water everywhere. That's right. Now imagine we're talking about poopy in a thong covering a butthole situation with a spray diarrhea situation.
She probably thought it was just like an anal salute, just a little toot here and there.
Yeah. And unfortunately, like I said, my poor risk management guy was standing right behind her. So our boy got dookied all over
Ugh.
while trying to help this poor girl.
I would have thrown her out the window and I would have just jumped in the shower right then and there in the bathroom and
It's
just
like, ugh.
ugh.
And the sad thing is, he's such a nice guy that he still made sure that she was okay before he cleaned himself up. And I'm guessing he had to go home because I don't think he had pants, and he was a pretty.
I hope someone told that girl you owe him something, whether it's a new shirt, maybe a facial, or a beach. I don't know, but you need to do something for this nice man.
Or all three.
You did it up on him. She went colon bowling on his face.
That's right. The old mud pie.
Yeah.
No one wants one of those.
Ugh.
You look like an ice cream sundae.
No, speaking of mud pie ice cream sundae, my grossest story would be, when you're a pledge in a fraternity, you don't get first dibs on anything, whether it's a drink if you're in line at the keg, or if you need to use the bathroom, the brothers go ahead of you, all the girls go ahead of you. So
Yeah.
we were at this wine and cheese social. So they had me bonging wine. They'd take a glass, like a cup of wine the size of solo cup, put it in a beer bong and make me bong it, And so I wasn't feeling that great. And I also can't really have dairy.
I was gonna say you can't.
I was being and I was my stomach was gurgling. I was like, this is a recipe for disaster, So,
God.
so I'm in line, and they kept saying, "CMO, let this girl in. CMO, move out the way." CMO. And so I was just in there forever. I'm like, oh my gosh. And this was at the Zeta house. So then I snuck down to the basement. You know the story. I snuck down to the basement. I stood up in the utility sink and I pooped in there. I pooped in there. And long story short, the next day or the next couple days in Susquehanna, remember that was the name of the dining hall that the Greek life went. So I heard the Zetas talking about it, and then someone was like, "Not again," and I was like, "Oh, so people just poop in there."
Oh my God. I had no idea. That was not again.
Let me tell you, I had my shoes on and I was stomping this shit down this little drain. And then unknowing, because I was wasted, and unknowingly I tracked shit through out of their like laundry room, up their carpeted stairs, out of the basement. And so I literally left footprints as evidence. How gross is that?
CMO, it was like a Hansel and Gretel situation. He left crumbs of shit all the way to his dorm room.
Like,
Who could it be?
who wears a size 12 Chuck Taylor? And then I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, Chris, like, your shoes covered in dung. Like, what's going on? I don't know. You know, when I look back on my life, I am kind of like a sick fuck. Yikes.
He stomped the shit, dude. At that point, I just leave.
I wasn't
just
gonna
run away.
pick it up and,
Oh,
and
no.
throw it away.
No, but stomping it. What was that gonna do?
Because I ran water. I ran water in this thing. Just try to get it down. And it was too big for the drain. I have huge turds. When I'm pitching a lope, that lope is monstrous.
It was a wine and cheese loaf. Oh, God. Oh, yeah, that hurts. Woo! Yeah.
Sorry.
Wow.
No, I never liked the Zetas anyway. I thought they were all bitches.
Oh, no, I like the Zetas. I was friends with them, but now you know. Now you solve the mystery of the pooper Zetas. I don't think I hate anyone to take a dump in their fucking laundry room.
And you know what else? My coworkers were so creeped out. So we have my office is on the second floor of this building in the Lower East Side, and from the back door leads onto this like really nice terrace, and there's no way to the ground floor from the terrace, but there is so there's no way to get up to the terrace from the ground floor, but it's one of those like ladders that you can that's like weighted, so if there was like a fire or something, like you have, you know what I mean, like those contraptions. Have you seen that before? So
Yeah.
So anyway, I put a big fake turd on the terrace, and people were like, when I came to work the next day, everyone had a theory. Like one of the drunk people upstairs like came down the fire escape and they pooped on our deck. And then one person was like, you know what? It might be a raccoon. Like raccoons have like huge human-sized turds. Like maybe we should call an exterminator, you know. And then everyone was talking about it, and it was such a topic of discussion. I didn't want to end it by saying like April Fools. Just kidding. So I just let it go.
It was me, guys.
I just let it go for a long time. But that was like such a topic of discussion, like the mystery poop. If they went out there and inspected it, it wasn't.
Well, who the fuck's gonna want to go out there and inspect it? Why would they inspect it?
Grab a stick.
Would you? No, no, dude. If you see some random fucking hunk of shit in the street, are you gonna just fucking walk up to it and poke it with a stick? No, you fucking keep it moving. Who's gonna fucking inspect the shit? Are you crazy?
It was kind of like gummy textured.
So you have to touch the shit. That's how you make sure.
So you could like stick it places. So you can stick it on a wall even. And so I think someone grabbed a tissue and picked it up, you know, or like paper towel maybe, and it probably felt legit.
Especially if it was out there for a couple of days, it probably got a little melted because of the heat.
And then my coworkers were like, the other day they were like, remember when the neighbors came down and like left a live turd like on our terrace? It's like, yeah, that was crazy. It was me.
Why, I'd like to announce that CMO has a new job as the New Jersey Chief of Police in North Bergen County. Congratulations, Chris Moore.
Yeah.
Keep pooping away. It'll take you places. Like the bathroom, you know. Obviously, hopefully, you keep it there. But
Well, on a pivot from poop, I got letter two.
oh yeah,
And this one is from the UK, Evan. And I feel like people abroad follow American politics better than a lot of Americans.
right.
I feel like, and I also think that our political, um, like situation at the moment, our political climate is probably really good television.
Totally,
So
absolutely.
this person wrote, "Fuck, kill, marry." What's so funny?
I thought you were about to ask an intelligent ass question based on your fucking setup there. You
Oh,
talk about the rest of the world is so informed. They know so much about American culture. Anyways, fuck Kill Mary. What you got?
well, they use political figures.
Well, yeah, but
And actually, I had one similar to this on an episode prior. But I think I might change my answer from last time. So this person wrote, "Fuck, kill, marry."
okay.
Marjorie Taylor Greene,
Oh,
Lauren Bobart,
okay.
and Nancy Mace.
Ugh. I thought you
Go.
said we're done talking about shit, Simo. God damn it. Well, you go first. They asked you.
Remember when Lauren Bobart's family's like meat tent or whatever at like the local rodeo gave everyone dysentery?
Oh, I thought
Yikes.
you were talking about when
Um,
her husband exposed herself to
little girls.
little girls at a bowling alley. I thought that's the meat tent you meant.
Um, the meat I was referring to is the one that she had her bare hands holding on to during
Oh, Beetlejuice.
musical. Yeah.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Ugh. So okay,
Oh,
so
goodness.
this is what I would do. I don't want to say kill anybody because I feel like in this political climate, like I don't want to get deported. Um so I'm just gonna say I would eliminate from the group
Wink,
um
wink.
uh, uh I guess Nancy Mace. I just don't like her. She's like there's a really funny comedian on TikTok that I love. Her name is Suzanne Lambert.
Okay.
Um and she makes fun of Nancy Mace's makeup and just her as a person. She's so funny. But anyway, she says that Nancy Mace gives off really bad um hall monitor energy when she's like
Oh,
the potty patrol. She's like,
right.
I don't want men in women's bathrooms, and I don't support the transgender agenda. Like she's just a twat. It's like I'd rather just not deal with her. So I'd rather have
Yeah.
her. Um, Lauren Bobart, I would fuck because she comes off with like whorish energy, and whores know how to get down. So like that would be
Mm-hmm.
fun. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, I would marry. She's probably my least favorite on this group, but she does go to the gym regularly, so I feel like at least I could have a workout buddy. That she does that like that fit. What's that cult stuff that people do?
Oh, CrossFit.
CrossFit.
However, she'd call you the F word the entire workout.
She would. And then every morning I would remind her of what a piece of shit she is. I would leave post-its on the mirror in the bathroom.
Good morning,
You're a piece of
sweetie. You're a
shit.
piece of shit. Smiley face heart. Oh God. See, I don't know, man. I feel like
What would you do?
I'm gonna have one similar, and then I'm gonna reverse too. I could not stand to live with Marjorie Taylor Greene, and the thought of her naked is just not. Ooh, no, not something I am intended and even considering to think about. So she's got to go.
She
Plus,
doesn't look good with or without clothes.
no, yeah, no
She
way.
should
I
just
can't.
like crawl up in a hole
I'm,
somewhere.
I'm just not a fan. And I can't, if you marry her, then I got to wake up and listen to this bitch talk about Jewish space lasers and shit all goddamn days. So, nope, not for me. Either way, she's got to go. Um, Lauren Boebert, though, I'd take her to go see Beetlejuice. I'm not gonna lie.
So you would fuck her?
Yeah, and like you said, yeah, absolutely. And note when I was looking up Lauren Boebert just now, one of the first images, because I have to look up all three to make an educated decision. This is one of the first pictures that came up. Look at her thing, and that's a real picture. That's her.
That's her tattoo?
That's her tattoo. She has this like
That's so
tribal
white
tattoo
trash.
thing. Totally, but she's hot.
She's got a killer bod.
She does. So you can't hate on a hater. I would
She
definitely hit
probably
it.
likes it in the butt. She looks like that.
She's definitely into some weird, freaky shit. I don't know that
She'd
I
be
want to
like,
marry her though, because
she would say, "Make my brown hole blue." Aye, aye, Captain.
But I would definitely hit it and quit it, as they say back in the day.
Do you think she yells out like stereotypical offensive tribal like calls while she's getting ass rammed?
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
We're canceled. Now, I'm trying to move on from that one. now, Nancy, I would marry because I feel like she would just be like that. She could just be that passive aggressive marriage, that you just have where you just like look at each other and you just hate each other and you just, she like she's looking out the window and then she looks back at me and she says, those Mexicans are ruining the apple trees again.
Oh God.
And I just shake my head and just sigh like this is my fucking life. And then I take a swig of my alcoholic beverage, take a swig of my rum, and drown out the sorrows. And then roll the credits. That's my day.
Has she ever
That's what
been
I feel like.
I think she's single, right?
Nancy Mays? I
Yeah.
think she got married. Didn't she?
And she
Wasn't she the
thought
one
she
that
got married.
sued her husband for like raping her?
Yeah.
Her?
And a few other guys, I think.
Yeah. And now she's being sued for defamation by that man.
Yeah.
But yeah, she said she got raped by like 4 dudes. That so. Ugh. We'll see what happens there. But one of them is suing back.
No,
But yeah,
she uses her sexual assault as like justification or ammunition regarding trans women in female bathrooms, and
yeah,
she's
even though she was
like,
not raped by a trans person, according to
but
her.
I feel like I sympathize with anyone who's been assaulted, but that doesn't make your opinion on the matter in this scenario like the opinion or like more important to other people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And again, she wasn't assaulted by trans people. Like I get, like if she was fucking like walking down the street and a little clown car full of trans people came out and like 16 trans people got out of a little clown car and they all hold her down and take turns on her. Okay, she's gonna fucking hate trans people. But she got, according to her, assaulted by fucking 4 normal dudes, 4 white dudes. So what does the trans have to do with anything? Like, how does her opinion about trans people have any weight on the matter? Like, I don't know. It seems like it's like you're at the grocery store and you have like 2 items. Someone pokes you. Hey, do you mind if I go ahead? I'm in a rush. And you look back and it's a lady with a giant fucking shopping cart. You're like, sorry, man, I have 2 things. I'll be done in a second. Well, excuse me, I was molested. And I think, whoa. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's like I feel like she pulls that card out a lot unnecessarily, and that's just again, I don't want to be awful to victims. Good. If you went through something like that, that's fucking awful. But Jesus, Nancy Mace, chill out, chill out.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that is our fuck Mary kill. Uh,
Do
Marjorie
they?
Taylor Greene,
I
Laura
know we
Boebert,
have a
Nancy
topic
Mace.
to get to, but do all three girls defend the current scandal regarding the group messaging?
Um, well, of course, and
That's so
natural
bad.
Republican term right now, it's the strategy right now is underplay. If this was anybody else, they would be calling for their head. But right now they're saying, well, people make mistakes, you know? So like haven't you texted the wrong person before? Like saying like, hey, you up? And then they respond like, oh my God, Jim, it's me, your sister. And they say, oh, sorry, mistake, big mistake. But anyways, you up? We've all done it. Everybody's done it. We've all done it every time. So who hasn't secretly texted secret, top secret information to a reporter? Who hasn't? Happens all the time. So that's where they're at right now.
You know
That
what?
is
Let's say I'm a doctor
okay.
and you're my patient. And then
Okay.
when I went home, I told Osmario all about your medical condition or health history or medication history, whatever. I would have committed a huge crime based off of HIPAA policy. So I would have violated your rights as a patient, and the Office of Civil Rights can come after me. So, like, if someone's caught violating HIPAA, there's like a maximum penalty per occurrence of like $50,000, and the
Wow.
person in question could get fired. They could lose their license. Also, if you could prove um, if you could prove malicious intent, that person can go to jail. So if I were to steal charts from the office and go home and try to steal your identity, and like tap into funds or whatever, I don't know. Or if I were to sell some story for like people.com, if you were a celebrity, then
Mm-hmm.
and I made some money off of it, like I could go to jail for that. So like in the medical industry, they're so strict and there's such intense repercussions for sharing any sort of protected health information. So to me, I'm like, if the government is talking about like bombing is it Yemen or Yemen?
Yemen.
Like, yeah, man, Yemen. Okay, so if they're discussing bombing Yemen, like to me, like there has to be a punishment. There has to be. Because if every
Totally.
other like industry out there, there's rules and regulations, like there has to be like something. Like
I mean,
you don't get
imagine
a
that
slap on the
report
wrist
was
for that.
compromised and shit. So, you know, that reporter was compromised in any way and sent that information out to the wrong person, or they sent it to someone else. Like it's like, however, it's crazy. You tell me that it's $50,000 for violating HIPAA, but it's only $25,000 for violating a hippo. Believe me, I found out. I
Oh, that's good to
had to get
know.
I had to get my uncle out of jail the other day, and just so you know, it's way cheaper. Way cheaper. Saves you 25 grand, people.
Good to
25
know.
grand. But yeah, I agree. Something needs to be done. But
I like
that's
them
why they're
thick.
underplaying the shit out of it. It's like, oh, we all make mistakes. It happens all the
You know
time.
what? Hillary Clinton made a big mistake. I didn't support her, and I don't support this either. Like you don't
Hmm.
use your like
Yeah, she's sitting there
private laptops
laughing.
at home.
She's literally laughing. Like her tweets have been pretty funny on the matter. And she's like, "What? Are you
Yeah.
idiots? Are these people stupid?" Anyhow, it is time to get to it, Mr. Mo, because This week's topic's a pretty good one. It's a pretty fun one. Because traveling is supposed to be the time when you go out with your family, or yourself. You learn something about yourself. You're supposed to go out. You enjoy the life and the world and everything around you. You try foods. You explore new places, and you see where your life takes you. However, sometimes, Mr. Mao, that's
People
not
buy
the case.
babies.
Yes, I guess they fucking buy babies. I don't know what the fuck. Other than buying babies, sometimes traveling can go wrong. Sometimes traveling can be a nightmare. Oh, wrong voice. I mean, a nightmare. That's why this week we're gonna give you our top 10 biggest travel nightmares as seen here by us and around the world at the Frat Chat Podcast. Because it's a perfect time for the season to do this, because spring break is coming. Well, everybody will be traveling, and so is summertime. So before you get on that plane, before you go on that cruise, before you take that expedition, listen to this episode. It might just save your life. God damn it, Timmy. I mean, life. Anyways, let's get scary. These are traveling nightmares here at the Frat Chat Podcast. And we do have 10 of them, but we do have an honorable mention. That is a huge traveling nightmare, in my opinion.
Huge.
That's right. One of the biggest travel nightmares I've ever seen. It almost took 2 bags to reinforce it. Because
Weighs
this day,
30 pounds.
That's right. Named it Chris Jr. Jr. Because this happened at the worst time. Imagine you're on the road, right? And you're there with your family. You're having a nice little family trip. You're eating your little McDonald's. Everybody's happy. Kids got their Happy Meals in the back. Life is good. But all of a sudden, your stomach begins to growl. You're saying, it's okay. It's okay. I'll make it to the bathroom. However, at that point in time, as you say that, your husband says, we're experiencing a little traffic there, honey. And you're looking around, it's like, oh, shit. And all of a sudden, a few minutes passed. The rumbling gets worse. The traffic, it's not moving. That's when you realize decisions have to be made.
She blamed the McDonald's hash browns. Never had one ever again. I love them.
So this happened to Simo's mom, and I literally had a McDonald's hash brown yesterday, right before going venue hunting, and I did not shit in a bag. So let me tell you, they're safe. Maybe that's
My
why
dad and I,
Irish potato famine happened.
my dad and I were in the minivan, and my mom and my sister were in another car driving ahead. And I remember my mom and my sister pulled over, and my sister ran out of the car crying, "Daddy!" And then my dad was like, stay here, kids, stay." And we were going to Ocean City for a week, and so we had packed toilet paper. So my dad went into the van, got toilet paper for my mom, and then she tied up the bag and didn't want to litter, so she held on to it until they got to the destination, and she threw it in the dumpster. But she
threw it at you guys.
No, she tied it around my sister's wrist. No, she put it in my sister's lap. She's like, "Hold this," and my sister was like, "Oh wow, this is warm."
I don't
And
need a
then
blanket anymore.
then we drove over like the 60th Street Bridge to get into like the middle of Ocean City, you know? So we
Just
drove over the bridge and
set free. It looked like Free Willy jumping over the bridge.
yeah.
Oh god.
And
I
we
can't
bring up
imagine.
every year. Every year we're like, Mom, remember when you took a dump in a plastic bag? Because my sister was crying because my mom tried to get her to hold it. No, I don't know. That's true. And my sister was shaking. My mom was like, "You can't shake. If I get shit on the upholstery here in this car, you're gonna get it."
Oh my oh god. Oh man.
If you
That
spoil
really
this shit,
hurts.
I'm putting this in your school lunch. Expect it.
Just accidentally swap your lunch. This isn't my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It took 3 bites to realize a horrible mistake had been made.
Mhm.
Oh god. Oh man, that hurts. So yes, thank you, Mama Mo, for your worst day being the best story ever. But that's honorable mention of a traveler nightmare because holy shit, that can literally happen to anybody. I have to say I've luckily always made it to my final destination for pooping, but I have, you know, uh, twice in my adult life where I unfortunately didn't make it for number one, and had to jump straight into the shower, uh, and it was bad. So it can happen to anybody. It can happen to anybody.
If I try to pee myself, like right now, I couldn't. I
Oh,
just don't think I could do it. I just think that I'm
this
so
was a
like
case where
conditioned to only
I was
pee in the
showing
potty.
apartments. I was at the time I was doing real estate, and I had to pee before an apartment showing already. And no, this is in Hoboken, so you're on foot the whole way. And it was, the client had me waiting. They're running late for like 20 minutes, and I was just planning on going there, but of course, it's a new apartment. There's no like plumbing yet, so I can't fucking pee there because you can't flush it. And so I'm like, shit. Okay, say goodbye to the client, and now it's like, okay, I have to go home. Actually, no, we started to go see one more apartment that for some reason we couldn't get into, so then I couldn't go there. And then I'm going to say, okay, I have to go home, but I'm on the other side of town. I was like, okay, I have to walk home. I think I can make it, but let's hope I can stop somewhere. And so I'm walking, and I'm looking for businesses that will let me peep. But literally, of course, I'm in the side of town where it's like nothing is a business, nothing. It's all houses, it's all apartments and shit. So I get to the point where I'm like, I need to go so bad that I have to find somewhere to go. Like I need to just pull it out and go because I'm gonna fucking like I don't know how long I can hold this. And literally on every fucking little alleyway I look, every little crevice, there's fucking people walking there. So it's like this is the middle of the day. It's like I'm not trying to get, you know, a charge out here,
Indecent exposure.
right? So I walking for my life, and at this point I look like I'm like speed walking and doing this little fucking, and I made it into the building. I run up the stairs. I unlock my top lock and I go to open the door and I realize that the fucking bottom lock is also locked. I'm like, God damn it. So then I'm like fidgeting with the keys, putting it into that lock, unlocking the door, fucking shoulder it in. And literally, as I'm running into the bathroom, it just starts to go. And I just
Oh
like,
no.
it was just easier to just jump in the shower and finish and just turn on the shower and then take off all my clothes and throw them in the laundry than it would have been to try to stop mid thing and spray everywhere anyways. So uh It was the worst, the worst, the worst, the worst. And it felt so good once it relieved that it was not gonna stop. So yeah, it could happen. But anyways, why don't you hit us with your first traveling nightmare, Mr. Mel?
Okay, so I'm sure this happens all the time, and I don't think that my story is unlike any other story, you know. So
Right.
I a couple years ago flew to LA, and so from New York it's like a 6.5 hour flight, I guess. I don't know, 7 hours.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, I flew to LA, and I was sitting between two rather large people who were spewing over their seat into my seats, and they knew each other.
Oh,
They specifically picked a window seat and an aisle seat for more space, so they could like spread out a little bit, um, and didn't want to sit in the middle. So I feel like they should be sitting next to each other, but they both know that they can't spew into the other person's seat because there's no room, you know. So not only were they in my personal space, but they were also passing snacks back and forth, like talking over me.
no!
Yeah. Um, and I talked about this to coworkers, and I was accused of fat shaming. They're like, "Well, it's not their fault." Oh, but I shouldn't have to
I mean, it
be
kind of is.
disadvantaged. Well,
Totally.
it's not my fault. And so like I'm pretty tall. And so sometimes I just like bite the bullet and upgrade my ticket so that I have more leg room. You
Right.
know, it is what it is. And you know, if you love to travel and you're a large person, then you might need to like invest in like a larger
You can buy
seat. You know what
two
I
seats.
mean?
Yeah, you can get two seats. That's a thing. Whatchamacallit? My thing is like obviously there's people that are the exception to the rule that have like conditions where no matter what they do, they're big people. I've met a
Hmm.
couple. It's literally can't help it. Genetic things happen. But for the most part, there's a lot of people that if you're overweight, it's your fault. I gained a bunch of weight in the pandemic. There was nothing to do. Every time Julie would be like, "Hey, you want to know something sweet?" I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, let's go to CVS, go get some candy." Next thing you know, boom, I got myself 30 pounds heavier. So it happens. It totally happens. But it is something that you can totally work on and eventually get under control. So I think the thing with traveling, so many people lack self awareness that they don't realize that they're a problem and they're just too busy being looking at everybody else. So I don't know if everybody
I
was a little more
couldn't
self-aware,
I
it'd be
couldn't put the armrest down. So I was like nuzzled in between like
no way.
two.
I'd see at that point, I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. I got to put this armrest down. Like, sir, I am touching you and it's bothering me.
And then the flight attendant even apologized afterwards, was like, I'm so sorry. If there was one extra seat anywhere, I would have moved you.
Wow. Wow. So you could have put me in the cockpit.
Yeah.
I would have sat with the pilot. I would have, dude.
I sat in the toilet and been
That's
more
why it's like,
comfortable
I
the
mean,
whole
I
ride.
get why they fill every single seat, but I feel like they should leave like two open seats just for emergencies. Someone pukes, something happens. There's an obese guy next to you. there should be room for a little
A little
Tetrising
wiggle room.
around. Yeah,
Yeah.
around the cockpit. That's just me. That's just me. But of course, they're gonna make plane seats smaller and smaller, so they can stuff them more and more. And that's what will be. But anyways, I'll start us off with one that probably hasn't happened to everybody. Sure, maybe a lot of people have been in situations where planes are forced to turn around. However, United Airlines flight was forced to turn around, I believe, in 2024. Let me just double check that real quick. That's right, 2024. And not just for any particular reason. No, no, no. this airport, which was going from Frankfurt to San Francisco on a Friday night, was abandoned after guests reported that the contents of the toilet began flowing into the passenger cabin.
Ew.
Yeah. The plane circled over the North Sea after the problem was initially detected, but technicians on the grounds were unable to suggest a fix. And in a video shared on TikTok, a stream, which I guess literally, of what appears to be water flows down the main aisle of the aircraft, with some passengers even
Ugh.
pattering the water with their feet to show its depth. The carpet on board appears to be completely soaked, and it's all shit water, people. Shit water.
And pee pee.
Like imagine, like you have your stuff
It
under the
smelled
seat and
so
stuff.
bad.
I just traveled with Stella to California and had to put her under the seat. Imagine all that stuff. Like, yeah. And here's the thing: they were going to a European flight, which is pretty long, so they must have been in this situation for a couple of hours, which is just awful. And they were issued hotel vouchers and sent on their way the next day. But still, people, whoo!
Oh God. When you're in such a close, closed, like compact situation, smells that's no good. Uh.
Yeah, I think I would. I think I would totally puke, especially because someone else started puking, and that's when I feel like I'm pretty good with puking. I start seeing everybody else around me start puking, and then it's like ugh, ugh. And if I smell puke, that's game over.
Ugh.
That
Ugh.
puke smell.
I don't like the sound of it.
Oh,
So,
no.
I know. All right. So next up, what I have is this has happened to me before, but sometimes when you have a layover, it's not as easy as just like running from one gate to the other across the
Yeah.
room. Sometimes you have to
That's awful.
exit the airport and then go back through TSA, and you know what I mean. Sometimes the connecting flight is on the other side of the airport, and some of the airports are huge, and
Mm-hmm.
so some airports require that you take a shuttle bus or like a light rail of some sort to get to the next like terminal.
Totally.
So whenever that happens, or whenever I know that I have a layover, I'm open to a longer layover. I understand the appeal of having a
Right.
short layover because you just want to get home and want to get to your destination. But I'm open to like a semi longer layover just to ensure that I get there, that my bags get there. So, like, let's say I don't make my layover in time. My bags probably did. And so, when I
Mm,
get rerouted onto like a new flight, my luggage isn't going to make it there. You know what I mean? So
totally.
it's just a nightmare. So I always tell people like, um, uh, if you're gonna have a layover, avoid checking the bag. Just avoid it,
Yeah.
and aim for a longer layover. Get
Yeah,
a
man.
beer,
That's
hang out
smart.
at the bar. You know.
Yeah, that's definitely smart. Uh, I'd rather also have a little bit of it longer, like at least an hour or two.
Uh-huh.
Because yeah, I've been in that situation where you're running from one side to the other. It's so fucking stressful. And that's when you know, if you're traveling with a significant other too, things get dicey. One runs faster than the other. Come on!
So Julie's a faster runner than you.
It depends. We did do a foot race, and I crushed her ass. But
Nice.
if that was a short distance run, I feel like if we were doing like a 5K, she would crush me. But from one end of the street to the other, I got her. The 100 meter sprint, I got her ass. It was so fun. It was the greatest moment of my life. However, once I beat her, I'll never race her again because I already got the title. I got nothing to prove here. But
Agreed. I get it.
so but yes, stinky, shitty toilet. Anyways, what you got next, Mr. Mo?
I think I just went.
Oh yeah, the layover.
Layover.
Yes, sorry.
It's your turn.
Yeah, I had a long ass layover in LA once, and it was nightmare. Anyways, this next one, you guys, is one I'm going to get a little general, but in the sense that I think all cruises are potential death trap nightmares, and I personally would never want to go on one. Not only are you on a ship that's literally throwing food and scraps out into the sea, so you're followed by sharks the entire goddamn journey because they know there's a free meal being tossed overboard every 5 seconds. But you're also, shit can happen. You can get sick on board. You can be hit by a storm. All kinds of things. I think cruises are fucking
Titanic, you hit an iceberg.
That's right. There's many awful things that can happen, but this one just takes the cake. And again, not to keep bringing up poop, because on a Carnival Cruise March 2013 ship
today.
That's right. This is the shit episode. Elevators and toilets stopped working on a Carnival cruise ship on March 2013, halfway through a 7-day cruise on the Carnival Dream. So, passenger Greg Stark told CNN of the incident that there was human waste all over the floor in some of the bathrooms, and they're overflowing and in the staterooms. Carnival Cruise Lines had to fly passengers back to Florida. They received a 3-day refund and, of course, a half-price cruise in the future because who's not excited to come back for the next trip?
I would never. What is considered a stateroom?
I think a stateroom is kind of like like the lounges.
Okay, or like the Grand Hall potentially, or something like that.
Yeah. So imagine you're like hanging out there, having a beer, and all of a sudden you start seeing a little mud pile sliding through the doors.
No.
This is worse than Titanic. Oh Jesus. Yeah, no. I could never go on a cruise just for stuff like that. Because then what do you do? Like literally what do? You have to just sit there in your filth until they get you out. And then the shit is only half the battle. You're thinking diseases, man. Like, you can get fucking sick. You can get the goddamn cholera. This is not good. Ugh. And the smell. How long does it take to get that smell out of your nose when you're?
And also just the constant swaying of being on a boat, like it's like a recipe for just like puking.
Totally. A bunch of people threw up as that was going on, and just added to the mess and the filth. Ugh. Yeah, no. And then what do you do if you have to take a shit? They were in the middle of the fucking ocean. What do you do? Do you just hang your booty overboard and feed the sharks? What do you do? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because it's as soon as they tell you can't go to the bathroom, it's when you have to go. That's when it is. I
feel like if there's poop literally everywhere, I would just pop a squat on the floor. Be like, there's
yeah, but what if your booty touches the poop?
You hover.
No,
girls do it.
Remember, you're swaying back and forth. Slippery, poopy floors.
Yeah.
What if you do? Slipping on banana peel.
But it's not a banana peel. It's a turd.
It's poopies. Oh
Oh my
gosh.
god, it's cake! No, it's not. It's a turd. It's not cake. Don't eat that. My edible definitely hit, by the way. Sorry,
Yes.
guys. Okay, so my next one is, have you ever thought like what would happen if you were traveling abroad and needed medical attention? Because
Yeah,
there's no such thing as like global insurance.
totally.
Some people when they travel, like I even think the United States offers like travel insurance if you want to invest in it. Maybe if you're have um a underlying condition of some sort, might not be a bad
Right.
idea. But I'm sure it's not cheap. So if someone's coming to America, um, without any sort of like travel insurance, they're responsible to cover any medical expense out of pocket. So let's say there was an emergency and you're traveling from Italy to the United States. If you have to go to the emergency room, like, think about it, like, my copay with my insurance is $100. That's just
Wow.
a fraction of what an emergency room visit costs,
Totally.
and when you are staying overnight in a room, I don't know what makes the medical system think this is fair because, like, you can find a hotel room for a fraction of the price, but you're paying thousands of dollars
Oh
a
yeah, they fuck
night.
you. They
Yeah.
fuck you. I've been there. They
So
charged me
so
$77,000 for 13 days in the hospital for appendicitis.
yeah. So even basic treatments and, like, whatever can result in like crazy bills. Even if your treatment is considered an emergency, the hospital will expect payment for treatment costs,
Oh
including
yeah.
surgeries, medicines, medical supplies, ambulance, transportation,
Yep.
the food that they serve, the disgusting food they serve you, they bill you for that,
Hmm.
and anything else they use to treat you and make you well again. So, like,
Or things like
um,
cable.
yeah,
Everything is charged.
like, oh, did you make a phone call? I did. It's gonna cost you.
Yeah,
So,
right. But I use my
uh,
cell phone. Sorry, it's a cell phone fee. $10 a day.
You can go broke. People might have left their country with a lot of money and then have, unfortunately, they were in a car accident or something. They
Right.
require medical attention. That will like shatter their hopes and dreams for the future because the medical system is so expensive. And they're not going to just
Totally.
say, go home, we'll bill you. Like, you're going to have to call somebody and like charge it, and get
Absolutely.
some help. So that's horrible. If you get injured while traveling outside the US, the best thing you can do is contact the nearest like U.S. embassy or consulate for lists of local healthcare providers and medical facilities that would see you. If you're serious, if your illness is super serious, then the consulate offices can help you find medical assistance, um, and sometimes they can. Um, uh, send you home. Like there's some sort of like program or something where if it's like really serious, they're like, we're just gonna send you home. It's called like evacuation something. Medical
Mhm.
evacuation, I don't know.
I can see it now though, as efficient as these U.S. Phone call lines can be. Like especially bureaucratic ones like the IRS and things like that. Hello there. Can I help you? Yes, I'm out in Peru and um, I'm hurt pretty bad. Oh, really, sir? How bad is it? Well, I broke both my legs and it's starting to get pretty green down there. There's like maggots even biting at the wound. Okay, please, just hold 1 second. And then you hear, your call is very important to us. Please hold for the first remaining agents. For like 45 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry about you, sir. You might please hold me. Please help my legs. Listen, sir, yelling isn't going to help you get any help faster, please. Now you're bothering me, so please call back later. No!
Or what would happen is someone could call, the consulate or whatever, and they would say, "Hi, how can I help you?" And the guy would say, um, "I just got bit by a snake. I think it's poisonous." And they would say, "Oh, can you describe the snake?" And it's like, "Yes, it's shiny. I think it's called a black mamba. It's scary." And they would say, "Okay, yes. So you have about 6 hours to live. Lucky for you, we have a medical facility that's only 8 hours away."
And it's going to take us 5 hours and 43 minutes to pick you up. So just be patient.
Yeah. Like, thank you so much for your call. Your call is very important to us.
Would you mind leaving a review after the call? That'd be very nice. Thank you.
I'm always like, no.
It'll just take a minute. Thank you.
Oh shit, dude. That's awful. Yeah. Yeah. I actually was with my brother and a couple of his friends out in Panama when one of his friends got sick and like fainted and had to go to the hospital. And not only, for one thing, of course, this happened right outside the airport. So then, like, the fucking, like, Panamania airport cops, which is, like, literally just military police, is, like, surrounding us. Like, like, we're fucking, like, smuggling drugs across the border. And we have
Yeah.
to be like, dude, can we fucking get this guy help, please? Like, for them to react. And then finally they did. They put him in a hospital. And then, they kept him there a couple of days. And luckily, it was like dehydration and shit like that. Like, we were up drinking and stuff, and he didn't have any water the whole time. And, just literally, like, they pumped him full of fluids and let him go in 2 days. But it was so scary because it was like, fuck, man. Like, what do? Like, you don't have, like you said, you don't get travel insurance out here.
Hmm.
And the thing is, like, you don't even know if that travel insurance works everywhere you go, Like, sure, like for example, I can't imagine going to Venezuela and be like, I have my travel insurance voucher. To be like,
Or they might say, like, "I'm sorry, but we're not in network for your particular travel
yeah,
insurance. You
exactly.
have to go across town."
Totally. So it's like, I don't know. I don't trust these things. I just think be very careful while you're out there and hope you're in a country with good health care. And think about that shit before you go abroad. If you want to go get wild somewhere or whatever, make sure they got good health care. That's all I'm saying.
Let me tell you, with the way things are going with all of our like former allies across the world, like I wouldn't be surprised if like we're in Canada and we're like, "Oh no, like we might need to go to the hospital," and then everyone would be like, "Well, then Trump should have thought about that before they did this, and this." You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
right?
So it's not looking good for us when we travel.
Yeah, totally.
Countries are mad at us.
And I
Anywho,
don't
what's next on your list?
know. So up next is one that is one of my biggest fears, which is why I'm always the good boy internationally, because I watched enough of the TV show Locked Up Abroad on the History Channel to know I don't ever want to get locked up abroad myself.
That's a real show?
Yeah, you never saw it? It's fucking
Sounds
awesome.
scary.
It's like they had I think they had more than 4 seasons, but it was people whose stories, different countries, and they were some of them would smuggle drugs, some were caught doing different shit, I don't know, prostitution, different little bullshit, but they would get sent to these awful fucking prisons. And it was always like the worst stories. Like, oh, I was in Thailand. They took me to the jail and they shaved my head. And it was like me in this overcrowded thing. And I didn't speak the language. And I was there for like 13 years getting molested by a rat. It's like, whoa! It's an awful story. So,
It's horrifying.
yeah, just let me tell you, you don't want to be stupid and get yourself locked up abroad. So don't do the following things if you don't want to get locked up abroad. Now, number one, never bring drugs internationally. Number two, don't smoke weed in Thailand or try to buy it. Number three, don't emigrate to the United States or etc. Just those three things right there can get you locked up in a crazy jail with no human rights. So watch out. Just don't do those things. Come to the U.S., you wake up in El Salvador, like, what the fuck? It's very, very scary times. So, yeah, Watch yourselves, people. Locked Up Abroad, not good. Great TV show though, very entertaining. There's a
What
dude who
is
was smoking
scary?
cocaine up his ass, and one of the cocaine packages like ripped. It's like, oh God, what do I do? So he had to get caught to save his life. It's like, oh man. And they did an episode of Venezuela. They did 2 episodes in Venezuela. So that was a good one too. Yeah, it's a good show. But yeah, watch yourselves, people. Seriously, especially the
I,
U.S. part. Very scary.
Let me tell you, after that story you told about that guy who was like tortured in like a North Korean jail,
Oh yeah.
I just assume that it's that type of conditions anywhere you get locked up abroad because people are like, we're not going to look out for this American. Like, just because you're an American doesn't make you better than anyone else. You know what? We're going to show you,
Totally.
you fucking American. Like,
No,
that's how I feel
totally.
like.
And they'll put you in touch with the embassy, and you think, oh, I'm saved and shit. And it actually shows a lot locked up abroad. All these people, oh, I'm an American. Call my embassy, please. And they do. And the embassy shows up just to basically like check in on you, tell you, hey, this is what's going to happen to you, and we'll have a translator with you at your trial. And good luck. Throw
Well,
some finger guns and leave you there.
but first they say your call is very important to us. Please stay on the line for the next available caller.
Your call is very important to us. Please hold for the nearest embassy representative to get you out of jail.
Yeah. Jeez Louise.
Oh, geez. So, yeah, locked up abroad, that's a traveling nightmare. Don't do crime if you don't want the time, people. And, and I mean, the thing is, like, with jails, it's not just, it's really all over the world because Latin American jails are notoriously really bad. Asian jails are notoriously really bad. It's in Japan. Japan's are kind of clean, but they're very quiet. So I feel like people can go crazy. But, obviously Russian jails and you never want to fucking go to. You end up in some gulag somewhere. And North American jails are no walk in the park either. So it just sounds like jail is not a good place to be, especially if you're not from there. I feel like Canada jails might be nice though. Like everybody's so
I've
friendly.
been to jail. It wasn't nice. And it's like jail felt like adult camp in the sense that like the little like thin like college dorm mattresses they have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
You're like this thick,
But I do
anyway,
feel like Canadian jails would be nicer. Like they'd still rape you in the shower, but they'd say sorry after.
they say sorry. They're like, sorry about your butthole, but we do have 1,000 thread count sheets from a local Canadian Tire.
Anyways, what you got, Mr. Mo?
Well, next up, I have a friend whose husband got pickpocketed in Paris, which is common. Like pickpocketers are like psycho in Paris. They're really good. They come in like groups. And so they took his wallet and his passport.
Okay.
And so then he was like, oh shit, how do I get through the airport to come home? I don't have a passport. Like, what do I do?
Wow.
So if you are outside the United States, what you're supposed to do is you contact the nearest like U.S. embassy or consulate to replace your stolen or in some cases lost, passports. And you might get a limited validity passport if there's not enough time to get a regular passport.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in the United States, though, and if you lose your passport, or if it's stolen, there's like some form like DS-11 to apply for a new passport in person. And I think that typically it takes like 4 to 6 weeks to get a new passport. If it's expedited, maybe 2 to 3 weeks. But like sometimes you can make a case if it's urgent. So I think that like if you are overseas, you would qualify for urgent if you were robbed. But like, can you imagine if you went to the airport and like, hi, sorry, I actually don't have my passport. They'd be like, sorry, dude, like, get out of here, So you have to have a passport. That's like such a valuable thing to have when you're traveling, and to get robbed and that taken from you, like that's your whole identity,
Totally. That's why, honestly, I make copies and travel around with the copies if I can. Like leave the actual passport in the hotel, and I don't usually use the safes because I know that the maids and shit could fucking get into them. I like hide it somewhere sketchy, where they won't know. Um, but getting a passport is actually very important, even for American citizens, because if you're paying attention, I did see in the news that Trump and the Republicans are trying to establish a law where you would essentially need a passport to vote because they would ask for documentation proving that you're a U.S. citizen, and apparently birth certificate's not going to be good enough. So they're going to look for stuff like biometric stuff you can scan, which, passport is one of them. So it's important to get your passport. Mine's actually due, so I got to get that renewed soon. But yeah, I would definitely always have your passport ready to go. You never know when you're going to need it. So that's a good documentation. That's the most thing that can prove it's you. But yeah, losing it would be very fucking scary. Woo!
Yeah,
That is that
I
that
can
is literally my
imagine.
nightmare. I was so scared if someone took my fucking papers. Especially, how do I prove an American coming back into the country?
Especially in this climate. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't look like one.
Yeah, right. It's like, American, huh? Sure, buddy. Nicaragua. Send him to El Salvador.
Yeah,
And next thing you know,
Please hold it for the latest available U.S. Embassy official to help you get you out of this one.
yeah, exactly.
oh god. Anyways, I got two more on me, and this one these last two are the most scary, in my opinion. And I can't help but think about it every time I board a plane, which would be what would it be if what happens if we crash? Especially, you crash and you just fucking die on impact. All right, I guess that's that. But crashing in the middle of fucking nowhere. For example, Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571, who they actually made a couple movies after. Uh, and this incident is called as the Andes Flight Disaster and the Miracle of the Andes. And this happened in October of 1972 when a flight that was going from Montevideo, Uruguay to Santiago, Chile, that crashed in the Andes Mountains in Argentina. And it's just.
They ate each other. I saw this.
I was about to say, they were out
I was there.
Simo ate so much ass.
Yeah.
But he had to, though, and the thing is, the flight was carrying 45 passengers and crew, including 19 members of the Old Christians Club rugby union team, along with their families, supporters, and friends. 3 crew members and 9 passengers died immediately, and several more died soon after due to the frigid temperatures and the severity of their injuries. The crash site is located at an elevation of 3,660 meters, which is 12,020 feet up in the air, in the remote Andes Mountains of western Argentina, just east of the border with Chile. Search and rescue aircraft overflew the crash site several times during the following days, but failed to see the white fuselage against the snow. Search efforts were called off after 8 days of searching. During the 72 days following the crash, the survivors suffered from extreme hardships, including sub-zero temperatures, exposures, extavations, and a fucking avalanche, which led to the deaths of 13 more passengers. The remaining passengers resorted to eating the flesh of those that died in order to survive, as Simo said. From 19 team members on the flight, 7 of the rugby players survived the ordeal. 11 players and the team physician perished. Convinced they would die if they did not seek help, 2 survivors, Nando Parado and Roberto Canessa, set out across the mountain on December 12th. No, they crashed in fucking October, using only materials found in the aircraft wreck. They climbed for 3 days, 839 meters, which is 2,753 feet, from the crash site up to 30 to 60 degree slopes to a 4,503 meter ridge, which is 4,000 feet up, to the west of the summit of Mount Seller. From there, they trekked 33.5 miles for 7 more days into Chile before finding help on the 22nd and 23rd of December 1972. 2.5 months after the crash, the remaining 14 survivors were rescued. The survival made worldwide news. So if it wasn't for those two badass motherfuckers who went out there and climbed goddamn over 14,000 feet with materials that they put together from the wreckage, they wouldn't have found the rest of the guys because they called off the search after 8 days.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. And literally, like, I mean, like, they have to eat booty because that's the meatiest part of the human body. That's where they have to start. And just Simo, if I died, I would want you to eat my booty, but just know that my ghost would be sitting there watching you eat it. Like, look at him go! I'm glad I took that dump before we crashed. Woo!
I don't think I could stomach like human flesh.
No. Well, I guess you don't know until you're in that situation. Because at first they had, they went through the wreckage and you find like the airplane snacks or whatever you could find that survived the crash. But like I said, 72 days. How hungry do you have to be? And I feel like eventually the snow kind of freezer burns it enough, or it kind of feels like it's cooked. You just kind of gets like beef jerky. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's like sushi.
Ugh, beef sushi. It's like I
Just
feel like
you
we're
just
more like beef tartare. Ugh, yeah, I don't know.
ugh.
It would definitely be tough, but it's awful. But what do? 72 fucking days out, and 14,000 feet above the air in cold ass weather. Ugh, yeah,
Ugh.
not an enviable position. But anyways, that was my number 2. And no, I'm not talking about poop again. What's your last one, Mr. Mel?
I am no. So okay, so my last one happened to me, and
Oof.
so one time, and this happens sometimes. Like I think all pilots have to like prepare for the situation, but one time I was on a flight and they kind of like stalled in the air a little bit, and I don't know if they're like doing like circles or just kind of like trying to figure something out. And they had said that the landing gear wasn't working. It was like the wheels were coming down. So they told us to prepare for a landing, and we had to hold on to the seat in front of us.
No, dude.
And
No.
they declined at like how do I say, they reduced the speed and angle of descent. So in other words, like the pilots had to reduce the speed and the angle to descent to minimize the impact on the landing. You know what I mean? So instead of coming down like
Yeah,
they like really went. So it's belly flopping. So
totally.
it's actually called belly landing procedure. So yeah, it's crazy. I think that the scariest part was that as the belly of the plane was scraping along pavement, you could see like sparks out the window. So it felt like we were like
Wow.
engulfed in flames. It was so
Yeah,
scary.
dude. Man, I've dealt with like heavy turbulence before where the plane was like fucking shaking, and I think your situation would be scarier because it's like at that point you're inches away from a catastrophe.
You know what? If there was like, let's say I'm a child and there is an emergency or something really traumatic, as long as my parents keep a straight face, I would feel at ease. You know what I mean?
Right.
To some extent. But if I see fear on my parents, that's going to throw me through a loop. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I was looking at these flight attendants like, I really hope they stay calm for this. I really hope
totally.
that like everyone in here needs to see them keep their shit together. And they were freaking out.
Ooh.
Some
Yeah,
passengers were like
see?
screaming and crying.
Ooh!
I couldn't hear any of the announcements the pilot was making because everyone was like screaming and stuff. And like, man, it was like crazy.
And you see, that's what saved me when the flight that I was on with had extreme turbulence. I was actually sitting next to a pilot that they were giving a ride to, essentially. He was in his full uniform and stuff. And basically, sometimes pilots, they finish their journey and they'll hitch a ride on another plane to go back home, type thing. And that's what this guy was doing. But we were sitting all the way in the back, and the turbulence got really fucking bad. Like, this plane was literally moving in all kinds of directions. And my thing was, I am looking at this man, and he had his arms crossed. He was sitting there with his eyes closed, kind of like this. He looked around for a second, was like, and just closed his eyes again. And I was like, okay, he's calm, which means I'm going to be calm. You know, if I see this man start bugging, then I should be fearful. But it was, I mean, it's your heart fucking drops when you're at the mercy of a goddamn airplane. So I can't imagine being told we're going to land with no gear. Because at that point, you just depend on the pilot's skill. Because literally, like I said, like that plane is gliding on its own weight. Like if he somehow the plane turns just a little bit and that wing hits the ground, the fucking thing can, you know, like
Yeah.
it's you're at the mercy of goddamn God at that point. So, oof, wow. Well, good thing you're alive.
Well, and part of me thinks to myself, like, they go over like safety protocol. You know, if you land in water, you've got your was it the inner tube thing, your life preserver, you've got
Yeah.
like just in case you have your face mask. But like I don't know how that would have helped us in this situation. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I've never
totally.
seen a plane land in water and people survive. So like, there's
I was
no need
just thinking that.
for those life preservers if everyone's gonna like explode anyway. You know?
Totally. Yeah, literally no one ever fucking survives those plane crashes. They always
Does
die on impact.
anyone really pay attention during those speeches?
Right.
No.
I used to always read the little booklet. I was like obsessed with it as a kid, read it over and over. But there was nothing fucking else to do on the flight. Now I got my Spotify, you know.
Yeah.
Safety.
Exactly.
I mean, ultimately, it's true. If you're in a plane crash situation, 9 out of 10 times you're gonna fucking die. So those pamphlets are there just to make you feel fine. But yeah. So knock on wood, you guys are safe because we love you across
Yeah. Thanks,
69
man.
countries.
What's your number one?
My number one. This is the scariest, most awful thing that I think could happen to anybody. Is getting eaten by a fucking creature while you're on vacation, like a fucking shark
Ooh.
or like an alligator or something. You know, you can be mauled by a lion. All kinds of things can happen. But in April last year, a British tourist was left fighting for his life after getting attacked by a goddamn shark in Tobago. And here's the thing: the man was 64 years old. His name is Peter Smith from Hertfordshire in British, and he was attacked by an 8 to 10 foot long bull shark on a Friday morning. And here's the thing: the guy was swimming in just 30 feet of water, or just 30 feet from the shore of Turtle Beach along Great Cortland Bay. So not 30 feet of water, 30 feet from the shore. It's right fucking there. And was left in serious condition. Bull sharks are scary as shit. Those things will eat anything. And the thing about bull sharks is that they can also go into fresh water. And that's actually where they go to, have babies and stuff because there's less predators out there. So you can find sharks like the Jaws story is based on a shark attack that happened in New Jersey waters. There was like rivers out here, essentially that overflowed. It was the little channels that overflowed from rivers to the ocean, and they would have the bull sharks there. So imagine, and here's the thing that happened: the worst thing about this shark attack, is that they were there taking a dip in the water for like their last morning of vacation. It was like, oh, we're about to go to the airport. Let's take a dip in the ocean real quick. and then we'll go pack up our stuff and go. And then fucking the dude gets goddamn mauled by a bull shark while taking that last quick dip in the water.
Remember in Greece, the young kid got eaten alive.
Wait, wasn't it Egypt?
Was it Egypt?
I think it was Egypt, or was it Greece? Hold on.
But I just know that the song playing in the background didn't help the situation.
Oh yeah, no.
Stand by Me.
Yeah,
While all these like rich tourists watch this poor kid get devoured.
yeah.
Horrifying.
And he was screaming for his dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in Hurghada, Egypt.
Oh, Egypt.
And yeah, the poor kid is literally like swimming in the deep area, and you can see, you can hear the music from the restaurant, the Stand By Me thing, but he's like swimming, in this goddamn tiger shark, which is very aggressive, comes and just like bites him over the shoulder and brings him out from under the water. And the guy kind of gets out and he starts like yelling again, like help, help. But then the shark comes back and like fucking chomps at him again and just takes him down again. And the shark never finished eating the guy because the boat did eventually get there and they started beating it, but it definitely killed him. And yeah, of course I clicked on Reddit and the video's playing and it's fucking awful. I've already seen it.
It's so horrible.
But it's terrible to watch, dude.
Didn't they kill the shark though? They found the shark and killed it, right?
Yeah, they killed that Egyptian shark. They did not, in the story of the bull shark that I brought up with the British guy, they did not find that shark. It was like they some people had to like hit the shark a couple times, but in the thing of getting the guy out of the water, the shark got away, and they never found that shark. But then they closed down the beaches and shit after, just to be careful. But, the shark's still on the loose, as they say. Wanted, shark. Watch out. He's known to hang out in sketchy situations. Last seen robbing a 7-Eleven. Washy. But yeah, I can't imagine that happening to you. Because it's like, what the fuck? Like, the likelihood of already getting bitten by a shark is pretty low. I mean, to put, the fear of God into people of getting in the water. No. I don't want to fearmonger against sharks. They're very cool creatures. But, it can happen. And he was swimming in water, to be fair, the dude in Egypt, where they said that's like past the safe swimming zone that they recommend people being out there for that same reason, because he's not the only one to get bitten out there. But I can't imagine trying to enjoy vacation, all of a sudden you're fighting for your fucking life against the goddamn shark.
Well, let me tell you, I never want to go inside like one of those little cages and go down and
oh hell no! I just showed Julie a video of a shark getting into one of those, and the dude was like at the bottom of it, like, and while the shark starts freaking out, obviously because it's in the space, and starts like chomping around, and then finally they opened the top of the cage, and the shark was able to like jump out. And you see all this blood that I'm pretty sure it's from the shark, the gills getting scraped on the way in. But like, what? No, I would never fucking put myself as literally bait for a goddamn shark just to take a picture of it. Fuck no. I'll watch Discovery Channel all week on Shark Week. I'm good. Sharks are very cool. I'm not going into their home. No way. I love the beach, but I stay very close to shore and I keep an eye out the whole goddamn time I'm out in that water.
Yeah.
Fuck that. And I've been in situations where, you see dolphins, but the first thing you see is, the fin. So it's like, no. I'm not going to be lunch for a goddamn shark. Not me. But anyways, that was our list of the scariest,
the most dangerous.
If you guys have a good story, let us know.
That's right. Shoot us an email, fratchatpodcast@gmail.com. Give us a follow on all social channels at Frat Chat Podcast. That's on Facebook. That's on Threads. That's on YouTube. That's on Instagram. That's on Twitter /X. Send us a DM. Let us know your own travel stories or any crazy ones from around the world, And of course, you can give me a follow as well. Check out my website, carlosgarciacomedy.com, or you can give me a follow on all social channels at Carlos Does the World, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Threads, on YouTube. You can do Carlos Does World for Twitter/X. And of course, last but not least, follow my good buddy CMO over here at chris.moore.comedy on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Instagram, on TikTok, and Seymour Comedy on Twitter/X. Oh yeah! So, Mr. Mo, now that we put the fear of God into all of our listeners, right in time for spring break, why don't you please get us out of here?
Well, I motion to adjourn this meeting.
And I second! Alright, you guys, we'll be back next week with another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcasts and time. It's the Frat Chat Podcast. See ya!
Ciao.